everybody, and welcome back to another episode of MTG Study Hall. I am one of your hosts, Brett, and I am joined by almost always I am. I can't say as always because JC skipped an episode now. By
Dave
and
JC.
JC's back.
Who has a life.
Yeah, who's too cool for every Thursday. Before we get rolling, JC is gonna do the bookkeeping.
Sounds good. Support the show and get important updates. We have stuff coming down the pike, so be sure to check it out. Like us on Facebook.com/TCGU University, subbing on YouTube/TCG University, and enrolling on Patreon.com/TCG University. We would like to very much thank all our Patreon sponsors. You guys are amazing. We really like you.
Way more than our regular viewers.
Andrew
so
Dang,
much more.
Yari
Our love
Melkor,
is behind a paywall.
Clay Cardwell, Jay Rogers, Jarrett Hubbard, Jerome Weeks Jr., Justin Farst, Teodoro Ruiz, Tyler Zane Pease, and William Stoll. There's one more name on that list. Welcome. And we'll get rolling here.
Was that accurate sign language for TCG, or were you just doing like random hand
No,
stuff?
that was accurate.
Okay, there you go. I don't think we have the budget to like do completely. Probably be easier to put subtitles up instead of sign the entire episode. Live sign the entire episode.
Nor could I sign the entire episode.
Well, we could hire someone. I think that should be how we use our budget.
Hire 3 people, 1 for each, unless you're cool with doing your own.
Yeah, I know as much ASL as the typical Californian knows Spanish. So
Fair enough.
Okay. Yeah. Then 3 people signing, 1 for each of us. We'll do that for a future show.
Yeah, no, I like that idea. I like that a lot. By the way, I know we're always yelling at you guys to like and subscribe because we're YouTube shills now. Apparently, that's our lives. We are 4 subscribers away from 500, and there's not a special prize if you're the 500th. There's not, but it's a special prize to our producer Tam. If you want to make him the happiest, really, please subscribe. It's literally just click on it, and then you can hit the bell or don't hit the bell. But the subscribe would get that number to 500, and that would ease our troubled producer's heart.
yeah. And don't feel like it's an irreversible decision. I mean, it's an easy click. You can always click again if you hate it. Don't do that, but I'm just saying.
Don't tell him that.
Yeah,
You can't undo this.
It is actually one way. You have to click it and then subscribe to us for the remainder of human existence.
Mm-hmm. Contract is sealed. Okay, yep. Wow. We aren't even on track to get off track. So before we launch into our topics today, JC, you're back from your long hiatus from the show.
Long hiatus.
What have you been doing in and out of Magic?
Oh, so I went to Disney World. Yep, I sure did that. I took a vacation to Florida. It was lots of fun. I went to 2 of the Disney parks, Epcot and Universal, the filmy one. I went on a couple rides. I barfed my guts out after one of the elevator drop rides.
Is it the Haunted Mansion in the main park?
No, it wasn't Haunted Mansion. It was the Haunted Tower,
But is that in the main?
That's it. That's in Magic Kingdom.
In Magic Kingdom, yeah, okay.
Yep. And otherwise, I just did the touristy kind of things. Went to the beach, saw an alligator sitting in front of a sign that said the lakes could have snakes and alligators. Don't go in the lakes. He was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna troll you by sitting directly in front of this sign.
Factual sign. It was posing, definitely.
Yeah, he was posing.
Now I don't know if this is true or not, but I've always been told that people at Disneyland, they don't hire janitors or anything. They hire actors. So
yeah,
clearly,
it's cast members.
Exactly. So apparently, that gator was hired for that role, and it sounds like they were doing a bang-up job.
Yep, they
props to the alligator.
They were.
Did you get to watch the gator eat a tourist, the child of a tourist?
No, actually. So these
Is that too soon? Is that, I don't know if that's, are we losing our Florida viewers?
It took me a few moments to remember what you were talking about.
So these majestic prehistoric beasts, this one was just sitting on the land. A bird landed near it. It did not move. It was like, no, I'll choose when to eat you, bird.
So not like the standard tourist eating
predator.
gator.
Yeah.
Or maybe he already got a tourist.
Maybe he was full. Either way, Florida was beautiful. It was 60 to 80 degrees the entire time, and I skipped all the snow and stuff here in the Midwest, so that was cool. So that was outside of Magic. Other than that, outside of Magic, there was an announcement that Diablo 4 is coming out. I'm a huge love person of Diablo, the franchise. I have fond memories of Diablo 1 from being a kid. Funny story, there's some history of Diablo 1 relating to Magic the Gathering. Originally, he wanted to make Diablo 1, some of the publishers wanted to make Diablo 1, that they would put out CDs with new items that you could add to the game, much like booster packs. He was actually inspired by Magic the Gathering to do that. Eventually, Blizzard bought the company that was initially making Diablo, called them Blizzard North, and Blizzard was like, no. Don't
now,
do that.
And now Blizzard ruins all their games with loot boxes and ruins their reputation by being a terrible company full of people who make terrible decisions.
Oh.
I don't think we're allowed to like Diablo yet. I think we're still mad about Hong Kong.
I'm
still mad about Hong Kong, and I don't
think-
play any Blizzard games, so I can be righteous
Mad about
and
how World of Warcraft is not good anymore.
mostly about Hong Kong, but I can sit on my high horse because I don't play any Blizzard games normally.
They
So
can't ban you for it.
They can't ban me.
I think that we can still appreciate the work done by the developers, and at the same time, just not actually play it until Blizzard can grow a sack and not be Chinese shills. Deal with that brutal regime and support what's probably going to be the second Tiananmen Square massacre.
Oof, yeah. So as always, Blizzard definitely watching this show. Clean up your act.
And inside of Magic, I had a brawl deck of beautiful, colorful feathered dinosaurs, which are my one true passion and love. Also, that whole set was actually pretty powerful. Like, all the dinosaurs are actually pretty beefy and strong.
That Ixalan tribal is really cool.
That Ixalan tribal is really cool. They printed a lot of cards that care about dinosaurs, make dinosaurs cost less, that I can see going on into different formats forever because they're good. So I was...
Enrage was super strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially since your dinosaurs obviously want to be fighting things because they're going to win.
Yep.
So
exactly. It's like... something that makes my dinosaur fight another person is basically like a kill a creature card because all my dinosaurs are 5 or higher. Like typically, like not all of them, but the vast majority of them. So I've been building that into a commander deck, and that's been fun. I was able to start my first infinite combo that leads to a tie by putting Marauding Raptor in with Polyraptor. Which Marauding Raptor.
It's a new one who, whenever a creature enters, it shoots them.
And then it gets bigger if it were a dinosaur.
Yeah, but so if
and it has the cost reduction too, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has a cost reduction, and it has whenever a creature in a battlefield, it does 2 damage to it. Polyraptor has a condition that when it is dealt damage, you make a copy of Polyraptor. So
and that's not a
okay. That makes sense.
So with that card in play, when Polyraptor comes in, Polyraptor gets damage. Polyraptor makes a copy. The copy takes damage. The copy makes a copy. The copy takes damage. The copy makes a copy.
Yeah.
So unless anyone can interrupt the trigger, so if anyone has an answer like an instant or something like that they can play to stop it, it results in a tie.
That does sound like a game-ending loop, which
Yep.
are the best kinds of loops.
So yeah, you win. If you get a game-ending loop, you win. And if you put Warstorm Surge in or similar cards, you get to win.
There's a couple similar cards in Commander that you can put in that when a creature comes in,
Pandemonium.
it does 5 damage or does 3 damage, anything like that. So you can turn that into, it's either a win combo or it's I end the game in a tie, and I feel good about that.
Yeah,
combo.
so yeah, you either get to win or you get to take the ball and go home.
Yeah.
So no, I like it. I'm excited to play the deck. I've mostly been playing Brawl. I haven't played Commander in forever. We should bust out the dust off the Commander decks.
Dust off the Commander decks. So that's been me in and out of Magic.
Alrighty, Dave.
Well, in Magic, I made some butter earlier today, and I've got sourdough starter going. I'm trying to make yeast, so it's cool. I'm just gonna have something that's fermenting, chilling on my kitchen counter for 2 weeks. I don't foresee that ending poorly for me.
No,
there's no way that's gonna be bad.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of cool. And then in Magic, I guess I don't know. I top 8'd some tournament this last weekend, so WPN qualifier.
Nothing big.
And we're going to talk about that later in the show.
Yeah, with a few other things, but as you can see, spoils of my victory. Is that right? Tam's gonna yell at me. I was too far away from the mic.
Right now.
No. That's an artifact. That's the sad robot. You can tell because of its facial expressions.
We have the good art, not the
The other art's fine. I can't remember because that was an invitational card, and that's somebody's face. And
I know, which I feel
it's
I
a
don't
fine
want to.
face.
I don't want to be mean.
Tight.
It's just if I somehow got on an invitational card, I wouldn't look like I fit into the game either. So like I'm not saying like yes, if I made it on a card, I would fit. So it's always kind of funny. It's like why is that kind of like weird nerdy guy in a Magic card? Well, because he won a tournament and got the card in it.
That feels like a fun conversation. I think Tiago Chan is the only one that looked like they fit in the artwork. And that's Snapcaster Mage.
Yeah.
And there's nothing quite like the picture of him holding 3 Snapcasters in his hand, and someone posting it saying, "Hey, look, playset."
So one more note about Diablo, and then I promise I will not talk about Diablo the whole rest of this podcast.
Because we're mad at Blizzard.
The original Diablo, the guy Deckard Cain, the stay a while and this and that guy, that guy was named after a fan who won a contest. He got the opportunity to name that character, and instead of naming it after himself, he named it after his kid. So he named his kid Deckard Cain.
All right.
That's a badass name.
That's a badass name. So
like-
there's a 20-something-year-old running around right now who's named Deckard Cain.
Unless he changed it. It's possible.
Unless he changed it, please like the show, Deckard Cain.
Hey, he's definitely watching. We have a very large net we spread. I mean, I think it'd be harder to figure out who isn't watching.
So I
Probably.
apologize. We were doing your
Oh
in and
no,
out
no,
of
no.
Magic.
We're good. I mean, yeah, I think the Snapcaster Mage is probably the only one that actually fits, but we could go on for hours about the invitational cards and the history and how it's fitting that Mike Long got Rootwater Thief. Look up the history of Mike Long. That was a marvelous name for him. Anyway, but yeah, it was kind of cool. Shout out to Goblin Games. We'll post a link to their Facebook on the video so you can check them out if you're in Manhattan, Kansas. It was a really awesome store. Super clean, well organized, super friendly staff, all these different things. Like everyone that I interacted with while in Manhattan, Kansas was super cool, especially people at that store. So props to them.
Props.
Awesome, and we'll cover that a little more later on. As for myself, new Pokemon game is awesome.
Oh, Sword and Shield.
Having fun with Sword, the correct game to buy, and the people who bought Shield, you know who you are. You made a bad choice, and you make bad
Rising
choices.
of a
So
Shield
what
hero.
level's your Tranitar?
What now?
What your Tranitar?
I don't
Because
know.
isn't he in Sword? I thought he was in Sword.
I have mostly messed around in the wild area, and I got my first badge yesterday at like 6 hours. So
I heard
Oh my.
somebody beat that entire game with a sheep.
Wooloo.
The Wooloo.
Wooloo
They
is
got
that-
Wooloo just like beefy, overpowered, and they beat the entire game with just that sheep. The
On brand.
The mirror
My
match.
girlfriend
brand.
is off screen and is freaking out
the
because
matches
she loves that
where
thing.
they had to have 2, so the tag team partners, they put a Magikarp in and just had it splash, and then just had their sheep,
Not 2 sheep?
kill 2 Pokemon at a time. Like I was just like, good for you.
But no, so Pokemon's a lot of fun. Rereading Ender's Game. Great book, terrible author. Get it from your library. Read it, but get it from your library. Read it. Everyone should read Ender's Game. Try not to pay for it. Orson Scott Card sucks.
He said things he definitely shouldn't have. And I remember a conversation I had a long time ago, and the stuff he said, yeah, he's a shitbrick. He was a shitbrick for that. From my understanding, he has since changed his mind, and I have nothing to back that up.
I did a little research hoping
So-
that like maybe he got better, and everything that Wikipedia made me go, oh no, he didn't. Oh.
That's probably a thing for another time. Like,
Yeah,
can you separate the artist from the art? Can you still like something from someone that's kind of a piece of shit? Like, you know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
those of you that don't know,
I'm gonna.
it really hurts to find out what happened to the Kenshin writer. That's like,
Oh, I don't know, but we should probably start
Yeah,
talking about
should go
Magic the
back on
Gathering. So
topic.
when we're done with this, I'd love to
Yeah.
hear that story. Okay, but yeah, Pokemon's fun. Ender's Game's good. Don't buy the book new if you can help it. And in Magic, we went. I went with my spouse and my girlfriend, and we went down to a charity tournament in town. It was the Extra Life charity we were doing in town, and we played a Brawl tournament the Krypton Comics put on, which was awesome.
That's awesome.
We got 7 people, which is not huge, but we played 3 rounds of Brawl. We had fun. Everybody got a promo pack. It was a lot of fun. I just love playing Brawl, and so we got to play multiplayer Brawl. And yeah, got to play Brawl. And then I played on my Brawl Wednesdays, which at some point we're going to get me playing Brawl up on the channel for you guys. I built a new deck and smashed face with it. New Garuk is a lot of fun as a commander. So yeah, mostly playing Brawl. That's how I play Magic right now. So that is me in Magic and out of Magic, and so we're gonna actually start talking about the game now. So we're gonna open up with the bannings. So when you guys are watching this, the bannings will be a week old, unless I almost forgot before we launch in. Unless you're watching live, we do put the show out live now. This is the first one. If you pay $1 a month to get in on the Patreon, we will put the link live, and we record Thursday nights around 6:20, 6:30 Central, unless we don't, because we're talking and not starting the show. So, if you want to watch us say not terribly interesting things and shout out our friends off mic before we start recording, check it out live. So yeah, that was the plug for the show. Okay, so Monday, week-old bands. We got Oko Thief of Crowns.
Once Upon a Time. Oh, hey, we even said different ones.
Yeah, and those two. Once Upon a Time and Veil of Summer. And so, yeah. I've been talking.
Banned in Brawl too.
Oh, so we got those 3 bands in Standard: Oko and Brawl, Ren and Six, and Legacy, and Narset Parter of Veil?
Yep, Narset Parter of Veil is restricted in Vintage, which makes a lot of sense.
So we got three mana planeswalkers banned on the same day.
Ren and Sixes too.
Is Ren and Six too?
Oh yeah, no, that card was really good.
God.
That card is super good.
We got 3 planeswalkers, 3 mana or less banned on a day, which probably doesn't mean anything, right, guys? Right?
I'd say, watch your ass, Tybalt. No, it's obviously not. Took you a second, like, wait, what do you mean? That card's okay. Oh, 2 mana. Yeah.
So that's kind of a shakeup. Thoughts, feelings? Let's get into it.
So Dave mentioned last week that he was eating a little bit of crow. I also am eating a little bit of crow. I was very much like, oh, you can't ban your titular character with the abs. You ban things around him. And then I was like, oh, well, yeah, no, I guess 70% of the decks and the overrepresentation on 3v3 matches and just all the things about people yelling about this is toxic and something that you're going to talk about too a little bit, like bounties. I mean, there's all kinds of things that Oko needed banned. So.
Yeah, it was very much out of control, and I would have maybe been a little surprised about the Brawl banning if we hadn't gotten the preemptive Brawl banning. So as I said in the earlier episode, I totally thought he needed to go. I need to toot my own horn a little bit. Lily, who was on the show last week, messaged me the night before, and she asked what did I think was going to get banned, and I said Oko, Veil of Summer, and Once Upon a Time, and I didn't say that because I'm terribly smart or clever. I just picked the cards that saw the most play in the tournament. So like I did call it, but I didn't put it out there, so I'm telling you I called it, so believe me. Definitely not lying.
If you check out last week's episode, Lily did say Veil of Summer. So.
And so it was Veil of Summer getting banned in Pioneer, I think, is demonstrative of the power of the card. Every other card in that cycle was a 2-for-1, was a 1-for-1, except that was a 2-for-1, and it can completely shut colors out of formats. Once Upon a Time was actually the most played card in the top 8. More so than Oko.
Because it was a fixing card. It was strong starts.
I mean, Selesnya Adventure was one of the decks that could prey on the Oko decks, and Selesnya Adventure is definitely going to be playing One Upon a Time. Virtually any deck that's playing any amount of green, and some could even and some could make an argument even for splashing it, because there exists some Arclight Phoenix decks that are playing that without really enough green sources to support it, because it can be a free spell.
You put 4 in Modern. You put 4 green-red Shocklands in your red-blue deck, and you just run 4 Once Upon a Times, and there you go.
Yeah,
it's just because I think it was LSV who, after the banning came out, said, "Great, now ban Once Upon a Time in every other format it's legal in." And I don't know if he's wrong.
And I think we've talked about what Once Upon a Time is. Go check out anywhere on the Google.
I mean, as far as whether or not that card should be banned, what has been said is free spells are never. Historically have not been a good idea. I think there might be 1 or 2 examples of them being fine. Like, I think Noxious Growth has never been, overly dominant in any format.
My Dinosaur Commander, 3-headed guy girl.
Zetalpa?
Yeah.
Well,
The
Zatoba's
Elder Dinosaur, he untaps all your lands.
You have to jump through so many hoops to do that, and there are some stipulations. If you cast it for free off of something, you're not untapping your lands. But then
Exactly.
you already cast it for free. I guess it.
And like, there's the spells that you cast them for an amount of mana and then they untap lands. Those have also been historically strong,
like-
but the spells that
Because
literally
they're also
are
essentially free.
yeah, but the ones you can pay with no resources, so the Phyrexian mana life payment.
Mental misstep. Let's gut shot, which gut shot never actually got banned.
But it's not a fair card. It's not a. I don't
Gotcha?
even think. Yeah, I mean, like it's sometimes it's out playing those Eldrazi decks. It's just like it's maybe Gutshot's okay, but Phyrexian mana wasn't.
Free spells in general, definitely, or
Mental
like
Missteps,
heavily reduced. Yeah.
Mental Missteps banned in almost everything at this point now, and like that's the thing.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, I played Legacy for the cup, like I think maybe a month that card was legal, and
Which not for lack of trying. I mean, Wizards keeps trying to different
should
things.
stop.
So yeah, different things of getting things free. Flashback essentially gets you a free card after you cast it. The Exhume or whatever we're getting in the
Unearth.
Unearth.
Well, Escape is the new
Escape,
mechanic,
yes.
which we won't say anything more about because it's still forbidden and leaked. But yes, I mean,
Sure, but
and so
there's different things that they've been trying
and so like in sorry about that, guys. There are things that you can make kind of essentially free, but make us jump through hoops. Play the card, get it cheaper from your graveyard, and generally, like that seems to be an okay place to experiment in.
I guess one, not to be completely, naysaying, but I'm going to say a word and then I'm going to watch you two recoil in horror. Affinity. So that is the textbook example as free spell not good. Look at Frogmite. A 2/2 for 4 is hot garbage. It is not a good card. But when you're playing it for free on turn 2 and then following up with a bunch of 4/4s and probably drawing some cards, then it becomes stupid degenerate.
Memnite sees a consistent amount of play, and Memnite is a 1/1 for 0. Oh yeah, no, he's Legacy, Modern, any place Memnite's legal, he sees play. Ornithopter. Ornithopter's been in Standard occasionally, which is a 0/2 flyer for 0.
And the thing is, whenever you're playing Ornithopter, it's normally not over. It itself isn't necessarily the busted part. It's what you're going to be doing with that Ornithopter.
Correct. How it affects your opponent.
Paradoxical outcome. Like Ornithopter wasn't the broken part about that deck. That wasn't the unfair about that part about that deck.
Getting a 0/2 flyer on its face is not a big deal.
Being able to draw a card off of it and up your storm count by 1
Is a big deal.
Yeah, then we start having problems.
And so, I mean, I guess when you get free spells, obviously we've said some examples that are okay, but it seems to be ones that get you card advantage, ones that replace themselves, particularly ones that replace themselves because they make Storm just all that much better in every format where you can Storm off. It's dangerous ground, and it seems like Wizards has been able to do some cards for free, and you can do kind of free where you have to have a base amount of mana and you untap lands, or you flashback, or you do things like that, and those are...
And to be fair, on Once Upon a Time, I just think Once Upon a Time... I think the story on Once Upon a Time might be different if it was only 2 or 3 cards instead of, basically redraw.
Yeah.
It is the consistency it was making that turn 2 Oko happen so often. So, I mean... It's unsurprising the free spell needed the ban, and if we see it go in other formats, I won't be surprised. I would be surprised if it sticks around if it doesn't hit at least 1 or 2 more bans, I'd be surprised.
Like, I think...
I don't know if it's that strong, but
A safe bet is to predict that free spells are going to get banned, and then in 4 months to 2 years, I can go, oh man, I made the safe bet.
Let me continue eating my crow from Oko. So.
Something I wanted, so Veil of Summer we kind of covered last week, and it's just too good. It cuts out colors. Once Upon a Time free. Something interesting about Oko that JC you mentioned to me pre-show. So Oko got banned in Brawl.
It got banned in Brawl,
and that surprised me because I have my ear fairly close to the ground with Brawl, and I play Brawl one-on-one pretty regularly, and the deck was good. And the deck and when you have Oko down, it's pretty easy to invalidate creature-based commanders. And so maybe that's enough to say, we want this format fun, we want people to play their creatures. Sorceress Spyglass has remained banned in Brawl for quite a long time, even though we reprinted it. So maybe Oko's too good. But Oko wasn't the best deck. Oko wasn't the best deck before he got banned, and the decks that were better than Oko are still really good. I think if you want to play the absolute strongest decks in one-on-one Brawl, you're probably playing Niv Mizzet Reborn, or the 5-color one. That seems to be the best deck in the format by a lot. And so...
And Brawl's because it's a singleton format, because it's a larger card pool, it was harder to set up the crazy Oko stuff. So I think it's a decision. They're not quick to ban things in singleton formats in the first place. So
I feel like they did it for optics. I don't think he was super... and now it might have been... Everyone's mad about Oko. We're trying to push Brawl. We don't want people to just assume, oh,
But
Oko's
his
the
abs.
best card. His abs are dreamy. But maybe it was just about optics. But I think if Wizards was trying to do the best thing to make Brawl the best playable format, maybe Oko needed to go. But I think Niv Mizzet and maybe Golos are the most... I mean, and I think they're the most boring decks because you just play ramp in Golos and go get Field of the Dead, which isn't as broken if you can only get one, but it's still what you do every time. And Niv Mizzet is just play incredible haymakers. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but Brawl is kind of a format of haymakers. And so Niv Mizzet is literally jam every haymaker, every good, incredibly impactful card into your deck, and then play a card that draws all the 2-color ones. And so
then have enablers.
when they just said we banned Oko and Brawl for the same reasons as Standard, that kind of annoyed me.
Yeah, it kind of annoyed me too because Brawl's a different game.
And like, if you say he invalidates creature commanders, people are sick of him, we think he's unhealthy, and he pushes the format in an unpleasant direction, that's fine. Add a few sentences to that and say that. Or say we're banning him and we're also banning Niv Mizzet because Niv Mizzet hurts competitive diversity, because I think it does.
There is one thing they said about banning Oko in Standard that might carry over to Brawl, in that an overrepresentation of green, and I think there's been a conversation in the community that green has been getting stronger for a while.
In these past several sets, certainly. And interestingly enough, they didn't ban Once Upon a Time or Veil of Summer in Brawl. Now, I don't think Veil of Summer needed to go. Yet. And I don't know how much they care. I mean, Brawl Wednesdays are my favorite arena day. Every single week, somebody on Reddit is screaming about, let's make Brawl come up more often. But, yeah, I'm curious. I feel like Oko got banned for optics and less about gameplay, or maybe more about what people assumed were happening than what was actually happening. Also, I could be totally off base. They have the Brawl data on Arena that I don't. So maybe it was a problem. Maybe Niv Mizzet's fine. But if Niv Mizzet went bye-bye in Brawl, I wouldn't be a little bit sad.
Now, as far as the few times I've played Brawl on Arena, when I was playing Oko as my commander, a lot of the times when I resolved the turn 2 Oko, my opponent just conceded. Now, whether or not I had just won that game, they looked at that and went, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I don't want to play anymore. And then they left. And that might be one of the reasons why they banned Oko. Oko may not be a problem, and you might be one of those few people like, Oko, fine, game on, let's do this.
Yeah.
But I think that there's probably a decent amount of people that are like, dude, I'm playing Brawl, so I don't have to play against Oko. God, I hate this card so much.
I mean, and that's... Yeah,
that could very well be the reason. That's speculation. I don't know if that's true or not, but
I mean, you
sense.
don't want your community to hate your game.
yeah. And I don't think it was. I'm okay with it because I think it was better for the format overall. If there's more people willing to play on Wednesday, because Oko's gone great. I think if Wizards really wants to keep the format healthy, they shouldn't just print 5-color good stuff, because in a format where it's slow. And there's a lot of mana fixing, and there's a lot of really good, because of the guilds, we've got all these cards. And so when I saw Niv Mizzet Reborn, I thought that card was trash. It's not trash. It's still some modern play.
What Niv Mizzet does again?
He costs 1 of each mana. He's a 6/6 flyer, and when he enters the battlefield, reveal the top 10 cards of your library, and then you put 1 card of each color combination of those 10 cards into your hand. So you can't double up on it, but and you can't... generally you whiff, but when that card resolves, you normally draw 4 to 6 cards. Maybe 3 to 6 cards.
I'd say 3 to 4 consistently, and if you're lucky, you might get 5 to 6 and have to move to discard.
Yeah, and then you've got a 6/6 flyer that when he dies, and you just play him again.
Yep.
And so it's the same game every time, and I don't think it's unbeatable, but honestly, I would not hate to see that gone from Brawl.
It might be along the same lines as what I was talking about with Oko. You know, if my opponent is going to look at the top 10 cards and then put the best 5 cards in their hand, I probably don't want to play that game anymore, because I'm probably just dead. And
I've been running into it. It is the deck that I struggle most against when I play Paper Brawl. So I also don't want to be like, it is the deck I lose the most to. So I don't want to be like, I lose and therefore it's not fair. But I think there's a lot of really interesting things to do in Brawl. Heck, I put together a Garuk deck last night and had a blast and did really well.
There's something to be said for, though, that feeling of like, well, I didn't get a strong start, so I quit because you got a strong start, and we're going to keep printing cards that encourage strong starts. And I mean, there is a thing to be said for like you obviously want to start strong, like you obviously do.
These things don't happen in the ranked matches; they're more in the fun matches, which makes sense. Yeah, I could see that where if there's something theoretically on the line, they're more inclined to go, all right, let's see how this plays out.
Right.
Yeah, so I play in tournaments, I sit down against Niv Mizzet, I go, ugh.
But
and then I figure out my gameplay against him.
You're still going to play, you're not going to go, well, he played turn 5 Niv Mizzet, we're done here.
And that's
But
why
I'm not going to do that.
But how much of the Magic population is playing in tournaments?
And well, I would
True.
if I was in charge of WotC, which it'd probably be ran into the ground, but I think Brawl should be every single day and give us a ranked queue once a week.
Of course, you think it should be every single day.
Well,
sorry. You're just
it's fun, but give
your
us
love
the
affair with Brawl is heartwarming.
give us the ranked queue once a week, so people who really want to push the competitive edge to it can.
That's fair.
And then we can actually observe if things like Niv Mizzet are a problem or if the metagame can adapt. But because it's just
more
once,
data.
it's once a week. I don't want it to turn into, oh, I'm not playing Brawl because I just see those Niv Mizzet decks.
That's fair.
And as someone who plays probably a lot more than the average player, I'm seeing a ton of those decks. And it's samey. And that's my biggest complaint. It's a samey, good stuff deck when in a format where people could be playing much more interesting, cool stuff because we actually get to play with way more cards than we normally do in Standard. But anyway, sorry, we took the ban conversation. We're going to talk about Magic bans. Let's talk about Brawl. That's what you guys want to hear about for sure. Really quick before we move on, Renin 6 and Legacy, and Narset and Vintage. That's interesting. And people are saying Wizards is pushing 3-mana Planeswalkers way too much. Or 3 or less.
I could see that, yeah. I mean, I think the writing was on the wall for both of these two Planeswalkers, like being able to, like, Renin 6, super cheap, super versatile. It kills Thalia, which is pretty good. I think there are a lot of creatures that it just flat out kills with its minus. You plus to get back a Wasteland or a Fetch Land. That's just absurd value in the Eternal format. And its ultimate should theoretically win you the game.
But
all this at 2 mana.
If you get to play 3 to 4 Wastelands, I think you also just win the game.
I've won games where I've had 4 Wastelands used against me. I can't say I've ever played a game where I've had 5 Wastelands used against me, but I don't think I'm winning that. But then again, I also like basic lands.
Yeah.
So being able to Wasteland lock somebody out of the game, that's pretty strong. I've definitely done that in a cube before.
And you're right. It was preying on all those Death and Taxes decks, all those decks that ran those 1/1s, the Mother of Runes, the things that keep Legacy varied were gone. And the Delver decks, which have always been really solid since Delver came out, are just better with Renin 6. So, and it's still in Modern, which I think is interesting, and that's what they made it for.
Yeah, exactly. That was the card that that's the format that they wanted that card, and I can't say that I've really played against it much, but I haven't played a lot of Modern lately either. So
apparently it goes in some Jund lists, which it seems
Makes
like
sense.
no one is throwing a fit about it in Modern. I think it's a super card. I was kind of hoping the price would go down more because I want one.
Well, it's about to.
The problem is it hasn't. It hasn't gone down, and
the stupid
Oko.
price memory.
So Oko went up. Oko's trending up now. So people are saying that because everyone knew the ban was coming, the price he was at was baked in. We already knew. So basically, you're buying it. You're like, yeah, they're going to ban it soon.
That's fair.
And now that the ban's passed, everyone's like, didn't get banned in Modern,
Well, it
didn't get banned in Pioneer. Bye.
True.
I
Did
have a
get banned?
strong
Not
feeling.
Only got banned in
yeah.
Standard.
I mean, I think there's a good chance that might be on the chopping block for Pioneer at some point, but I think there's still just better strategies than Oko and Pioneer. Historic, on the other hand,
There's things that are competitive
Ugh.
in Pioneer.
Historic,
Ugh.
which also, one last little gripe. I'm sorry, we're dragging this topic out forever.
That's fine.
Every time they've banned cards on Arena so far, they have said, we're going to ban these cards here, but we're going to wait like 3 or 4 days. And that lets you go ahead and craft them and get those free wildcards. They announced the ban, and then they did it in Arena. So, like, normally, I thought I had Okos, I didn't.
oh,
So I would normally, which is
Missed out on value.
I missed out on the value. I should have just done it, but I feel bad. I told somebody, like, yeah, they're going to ban it, but don't worry. They always give us a few days, so wait till they announce the cards officially, and then craft them, and then you'll get free cards for Historic. Nope, I'm a liar.
and here I felt like an idiot when I logged into Arena earlier, and I'm like, why do I have Mythic wildcards?
And like, I
Probably
have
not
like,
important.
I have like
Well, why?
I already have way too many mythic wild cards. Rares are the place where you don't have enough wild cards. But it was one of those like, really, Watsy? Really? You had to just do that the same day? Heaven forbid we get anything
what?
free.
You need some consistency in your format.
To be fair, if you didn't know Oko was getting banned,
know,
Yeah,
you were
I mean,
probably me.
that's
You're
the
probably me
thing.
going, I don't see a problem with a turn 2 planeswalker.
Like,
I was-
if you're an online player and you knew this was coming. I mean, like,
I said it was coming on this show, and
Yeah.
I just assumed I had opened any. I had opened 0, and I've put a fair amount into Thrones of Eldraine. So my life's hard and feel bad for me.
All these things.
Okay, Narset, banded, restricted in Vintage. Narset, too good. Vintage, weird. I think that's anything else about Vintage?
Have you ever had somebody flash in a Notion Thief in response to your draw 3
I
cards?
watched it happen on a Star City game stream in Legacy,
Oh.
and I watched someone's life drain from his face.
I believe his name is Justin Upple.
Legacy is not a game I play. So.
Played against that dude, super nice guy, by the way. But I remember they immediately memed that, where okay, play Jace, 0 with Jace. All right, responses, blow you the fuck out.
Notion
So
Thief.
I
I'm
would
gonna
like you to
draw
put 2 of those cards back. I'm gonna draw 3 now. Do you want to? He won that game, by the way. Not the guy with the Notion Thief.
Which is probably because, as much of a blowout as it is, Notion Thief is probably not good enough for Legacy.
As a one of, it's a spicy meatball, certainly. I can tell you in Pioneer, I was playing that card super wrong when I was playing that deck last week. But you feel really good when you get to draw 13 cards off of your Days Undoing and your opponent has 1 card in their hand.
Oh yeah, I guess he does play, and he also plays really nice with So him because you showed me that list that had Narset.
Yeah.
And
The only win condition in that deck is Notion Thief, and somebody 5-0'd a league with that.
just like beat Notion Thief beatdown.
Yeah, that's that. The idea is you get your opponent to no cards in hand, with either a Notion Thief or a Narset in play, and you have one of the lands from one of the Innistrad sets that both players draw a card and
Natalia-
discard a card.
Not Natalia Drowned.
Geist is part of it, I think, or something along this. That's the ticket. Yeah,
Gaia
Gaia
Reach
Reach Cemetery.
Cemetery.
So Sanitarium. There we are. So you get them in a position where they have no cards left in their hand on their upkeep. And I had a local player, Robert, point this out to me. You do this on their upkeep, not the draw step like I was doing because I'm big stupid. So you do it on their upkeep.
You can do
they
the draw
draw a
step.
card. Well, the problem is you give them a window to act to do something on it. And that's what he explained to me. And I'm like, yeah, you do it on their draw step, and they can interact with you if they have something instant speed. Well, if you do it on their upkeep and they have no cards in hand, they draw their card and immediately have to discard their card. And if they don't have a Madness card, they're not interacting with you.
the
The last
effect's
thing
already
that happens
sitting
on the draw
there.
step
Yeah.
is you draw. The
No,
first
no.
part-
First thing you do on the draw step
This-
is 100,
You're wrong.
100%.
You're wrong.
Yep.
You absolutely draw first, and
draw
then
first.
a player has
We
priority.
we have our local rules advisor in room, so we're gonna move on. So me and Dave don't continue going. But I'm right.
I have resolved so many Vendilion clicks on people's draw steps.
The last thing you do in the draw step is draw. You do everything first. I could be totally wrong, and I'm gonna look
You
like
are
a jackass.
100% wrong on this,
We're
dude. I
checking
assure
this.
you.
Okay, so we're gonna have a breaking update in a second.
We're gonna
Yeah.
breathe and talk about a sponsor real quick.
Yes.
So, Cards Custom Build. They make cosplay and nerdy accessories. You get 5% off when you mention TCG University. Go to facebook.com/cards custom build. So that's no punctuation, anything like that. It runs right together. Go check it out because if you're watching this, you are a nerdy person. Probably you know what cosplay is, and it might be part of your life. Go check it out. It's cool.
Okay, and then we're gonna move on to our next topic with an exciting break at some point to tell us who is right, me or Dave.
What's on the screen?
Yeah, sorry.
Am I wrong?
Oh, very wrong. Active player draws a card from their library. Then any abilities that trigger at the beginning of the draw step go on the stack, and then a player gains priority.
Oh wow.
So that's why-
Okay,
Yeah.
I was
Like, it's
Yeah.
fine.
So
I
that's
played
why
a lot of
works
Vendilion.
No,
doing it on the
okay.
upkeep
I was-
because the effect happens after they draw.
Yeah,
Same
no,
thing-
totally get what you're saying. No, I'm just wrong. Okay.
It's mostly things that break timing restrictions, like the 3-mana Teferi. You plus Teferi, now you can cast your sorceries at instant speed. You pass your opponent's turn. They have no cards in their hand, or you have perfect information and there's nothing relevant in their hand. So on their draw step, you plus. No, sorry, you've already plussed. Then you cast your Thought Erasure. You see what they drew for the turn. If it's something that's going to be a problem, you get it out of their hand. Given they're going to have a window to respond there.
Yep, you're totally
They're
right.
going to have some time for priority because they have to pass priority back to you before you get to Thought Erasure them.
I'm glad I was really adamant about being right. In a situation where I can only be immediately fact-checked. Well, very much wrong. You are correct, sir. Okay. Next topic. We are going to talk about... No, we're gonna roll right into that tournament you were at.
Yeah.
When you initially said Manhattan, I'm like, ooh, you went to a tournament in New York?
No,
Fancy.
No, sir. The college town around KSU, Manhattan, Kansas.
Which is not to say you guys aren't fancy out in Manhattan, Kansas. No offense meant.
Place
Cheers
is
to
cool. Like,
Kansas.
I lived in Lawrence for a while, so I didn't have a great opinion of the place just from secondhand. And it's just fun griefing K-State grads. But super nice place, super nice folks. Like I said in the intro, like really nice place that they had there. But 31 players, 5-round tournament, and they had a stipulation.
And
where,
really quick, this was pre-ban.
Yes, this was pre-ban, and I think that the folks that were running it had some concerns, like, well, I mean, attendance is going to suck because everyone's like, well, Oko's the best deck. Why? I don't want to play Oko Mirror, so I'm not going to go. They put up a bounty of
Which
a
I think
box.
is super interesting.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think that's probably one of the reasons I got a lot of the matchups I did. That the player that had the highest ranking at the end of the Swiss got a box of Modern Horizons.
Oh, Modern
So that-
Horizons? Wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
No,
doesn't suck.
they spared no expense.
Ooh.
They absolutely incentivize people to have some diversity. I believe it was Johnny Perigo was the one, another Omaha guy.
Woo, shout out. Good guy.
Got that, and I think that's super cool.
What was he playing?
He was on Selesnya Adventure, so it was,
okay.
I don't think that it was specifically Cunha's list, but I think it was probably close. I was talking with him a little bit about it, and he told me that it just absolutely decimated Oko, which is fine. I am 100% for this plan because the normal Simic food decks turns out blue-white. I think that's still a pretty strong matchup for me. The Oko decks that are playing Witch's Oven
but Veil of Summer.
and the cat. Oh, Veil of Summer's fine. If they can't play Instants, then I don't have a single problem. Teferi, I think people forgot about how oppressive that card can be and how good that card can be.
Were you on the Bant Oko deck?
No, I was not playing Oko at all.
Oh, what were you playing?
I was just on Blue-White Control.
Oh, okay.
Which you can absolutely find that on Top 8, MTG Top 8. I'm sure we can put a link to what the Top 8 look like in our show notes and all that. MTG Top 8. Oh, cool. He's pulling it up right now. It's a pretty stock list, honestly. I mean, there are definitely a lot of cards that I was playing in the main deck because Oko existed, because I knew people were playing Oko. Now, I didn't play against Oko into the top 8.
Okay.
So, and I think a lot of that's probably because they put they incentivize people.
Yeah. So, like, I know there were some other tournaments not coming into my head, but one tournament that just didn't play standard entirely because it was so unhealthy.
They switched to Pioneer.
So I think the incentivizing people with a bounty is maybe a more interesting choice than just not playing in general. I like it. I like it. I think that's a cool idea.
It definitely paid out well. I think 31 players when people actively dislike the format. I think that worked out pretty well. I know that there were 3 other Omaha people there, so at least 4 people drove. A total of 6 hours. 3 both ways.
That's not a short
to go
drive.
play Magic. To pay $50 for a tournament, get an Arcbound Ravager, which the artwork for that's pretty sick, by the way.
So how early did they announce that bounty?
I believe it was earlier that week they threw it out there, where they saw the writing on the wall. They're like, all right, we know the band's coming next week. There you go. But yeah, as far as the matchups go, round 1 I played against the Mirror, and we got exactly 1 game in, which thankfully I won. Super nice guy that I played against. It was super grindy. I had a lot of fun with that game in particular.
Super grindy.
Yeah, I mean it lasted about 50 minutes.
Oh, that's that's a long standard game.
It ended with him decking, and it was a matter of like 3 cards, like maybe 3 cards difference. If he had one more turn, I was dead.
Okay.
So that was I don't know.
That's a fun game.
I might not have thought it was fun if I lost. I probably still would have.
Yeah.
I can, thankfully everyone was a great sport, anyone that I played throughout the day, so that's always I mean, that should almost be a given that people are going to be good sports, but sometimes that's not the case. I'm glad in this instance it was in every match that I played. My second round opponent was on Simic Flash, which is a very strong deck.
Yep. One of the only decks that had a chance against Oko.
And one of the decks that I think is going to be a real contender post ban.
Rather.
That's the thing. I think they got hurt by the bannings despite the fact they're not playing Oko, because they were also playing Veil of Summer. And I think at that point they can almost I feel like you can get away with playing main deck Veil of Summer even if you're not playing Oko and trying to protect your Oko.
Yeah.
Simic Flash, I think, could have absolutely played that card, and it absolutely played your Once Upon a Time.
Once Upon a Time.
Get your Frilled Mystics, get your whatever the stupid wolf thing is that's 4/4, and you generally lose if you let them pass a turn with it.
Terrible Cutthroat. It's a fine. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, the thing is, all these cards are very, very strong and very, very good, and it feels so bad when you lose to them.
A quick side note about this deck. I'm sorry. I don't want to be I don't like my stuff getting counterspelled. It's fine. When every single card in your deck is an instant or has flash, when they only print flash creatures, there are no real choices to be made. Maybe that's a little unfair, but you always get to make the most optimal. Okay, Lily, who's off camera, who's playing that deck, is agreeing with me and not flipping me off. So when you don't have to go, do I main phase this to put pressure on? When you just go, I guess I'll keep a counterspell up. Oh, you didn't play a creature? Guess I'll flash this creature. There's no real choices to be made.
You force them to make choices when you play things like Teferi, when all of a sudden you can start interacting with them then. Now there are choices they have to make.
And I've had good games against these decks. I don't want to say, and it's all cancer in the format. I've had really good games, and, it's one of those things where, if you're showing someone how to... Sometimes newer players will go, counterspell decks suck, I can't do anything. And I've seen somebody on Reddit made that post, and it's true. And sometimes they have games where their counterspells line up to your threats, and they will blow you out.
There is a notion that blue is the most unfun color.
But and so those games happen.
Yeah.
But there is a way to space your game out. If you take the time, if you keep the mana and the cards in your hand to play 2 threats at a time. So I'm not saying the deck needs to be banned or is a problem, but I think Wizards printed too many good flash creatures, and I like it when there are more decisions for the player to make instead of I get to instant speed everything I want to, whenever I want to, all the time.
I mean, again, you've got Teferi. Teferi was, and that is I think that is the only, that card in particular is the only reason I had a favorable matchup against that deck. And
if you're on the plane,
and
you
there
get
was still,
turn
there was
3.
you can jam it down turn 3, but you probably won't because they're going to leave something open. Like a lot of the times, it's you staring down your opponent until one of you blinks first.
And moreover, I don't think that deck's a problem when it moves out of standard into other things because there's plenty of things to deal with it otherwise.
I think the deck is definitely strong. I think it's definitely beatable.
Yep.
And I think that it did. I think it got some splash damage from the bannings, but that one was, I won that one 2-1. There was an interesting line that my opponent had, so I completely forgotten the 5/4 green creature, 2 colorless, 2 green.
The Tyrannus, not the T-Rex, the horny one. Triceratops. There it is.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes.
That also going in my
is a way.
beautiful dinosaur deck.
Although that card does not have flash, that is absolutely an answer to Oko.
Yeah.
Protection from blue. Welcome back, protection. We've missed you.
And I also I should actually modify my complaint really quick. I play best of 1.
Yeah.
So there are sideboard tools to answer this deck.
Yeah.
I play best of 1 because I have the attention span of a gnat.
They don't collect data from you, come to find out.
Oh, I think they probably do.
I think they mostly collect data from best of 3.
No, they banned stuff. In last season, they banned something out of just best of 1.
Have they?
But I think, keep in mind, best out of 3 was new to Arena. Before then, it was all, it was pretty much all just best of 1. So they had that data about Nexus of Fate. And
what do you, I mean, well...
Please comment about your reporting structure.
Yeah, Wizards, let us know. But no, so I was actually... Wizards, the general implication online is they don't care about best of 3. They like best. They want their game to be Hearthstone-esque. They want it to be fast.
They used best of 3 for some of their most recent ban decisions.
So it's one of those. The pros play best of 3. The tournaments should be best of 3 instead of that awful, ridiculous hybrid best of 1 format. But when they are pushing a game that they want you to play every day, they don't want you playing 50-minute matches. They want you going boom, 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 boom. So Wizards is incentivizing best of 1 play, and if they're doing that, don't give everything in that deck flash, because there are tools to deal with that deck, but I don't have them because I'm trying to get my games done quick.
It feels like that's a completely different stream. They do stuff 2 times a year. So it's speed running. Sorry, games done quick. Anyway, bad joke, shouldn't have made it. But yeah, I guess we're having different. That explains why we're seeing different things then.
Yeah.
Because you're seeing it from the this deck again. I don't have any answers for it in the main deck, and I'm seeing it along the lines of, oh, sick, I have answers for it in game 1, and I get better in game 2 and 3.
Yeah.
If we get a game 3.
And I think that's probably its own topic of how they're designing cards and how they're thinking about a new paradigm and how they have to consider 2 separate potentially standard ban lists, but. We are moving this. Oh man,
yeah,
we're moving right along.
We're moving and shaking.
Do we have anything? Do we want to do some final thoughts? Anything else you want to talk about from the tournament?
I mean, yeah, specifically that line with the Ceratops. So I'd completely forgotten about it, and played the Teferi. Opponent responds, all right, I'm going to flash in my 3/1. I was at 1 life at this point.
And for the fun of people that don't have Google readily available, describe the set, Jared.
Oh yeah. Sure. So it is a 5/4 with protection from blue, and protection is 3 things.
Can't be countered.
It cannot be countered. That is correct.
Cannot be countered.
Cannot be countered. Protection from blue. Where the return to the good old days.
Yeah.
So protection is a couple of things. First, it cannot be blocked by whatever it has protection from. Next, all damage dealt to it from a source that it has protection from is reduced to 0. It cannot be the target of spells or abilities, period, from whatever it has protection to. And the weird one people tend to forget is it cannot be enchanted by whatever it has protection
or
from.
Equipped.
Or equipped.
Yes.
True, yes. I guess they had to throw that in with the equipment.
Colored artifacts, yeah.
Which, pretty good.
It's a good mechanic. They had it out of the game for a while because, as David just demonstrated, it's a little tricky to explain to a new player because it does 4 different things.
Yeah. And sometimes, it's like, well, what do you mean I can't enchant it with this with my blue enchantment? That doesn't, it's along the lines of the difference between hexproof and shroud.
And my favorite part is
which is a whole thing too.
And then the damage prevention gets weird because Questing Beast ignores that part of protection, but no other parts. But if you block Questing Beast with a blue creature, Questing Beast is going to kill the blue creature.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Did they recently print a counter spell that was something along the lines of counter target spell, exile target spell? Instead of like
they'll do that sometimes. Mindbreak Trap is the one that comes to mind immediately.
It was getting around the if it can't be countered, it just
exiles it.
They have printed cards
it exiles it instead.
Yeah,
they've done
Mindbreak Trap is one,
but they haven't done it recently. I don't believe, because that's another one where if they put that in standard and somebody goes, "Well, I'll counter yours. My spell can't. I'm going to play Dovin's Veto. This can't be countered. Exile Dovin's Veto." And you can Narset reversals Dovin's Veto because
please send that to the Shadow Realm.
It's Magic. There's a lot of corner cases.
There's a lot of corner cases.
So anyway, there are 3 Ceratops, each with their own prison realm because it doesn't have protection from white. I get them. And this one was, I don't know if there was an actual line that I could have played around it. But play Teferi. All right, well I can't counter it. Flash this thing in response. Okay, I'm tapped out at this point. Bounce your 3/1. All right. That's it? Yeah, that's it. You're tapped out? Yeah. All right, cool. Brazen Borrower, the Prison Realm back to your hand. Get my Ceratops. Give it haste, because for 1 green, you can give it haste, or trample, or reach, or vigilance. So many words.
No, only the 3. No. I think it might have vigilance.
It can definitely give it trample. It can definitely give it haste.
It's haste, trample, and maybe vigilance. It does 3 things.
Vigilance was a thing.
Okay, maybe vigilance. It does 3 things.
And I'm pretty sure reach was a thing that it could get too, right?
It is only 3.
It's only 3. Okay.
Reach, haste, and vigilance.
Probably not vigilance then, if that's the case. But I'm definitely on board with it getting reach. Yeah. That's the ticket. Shifting Ceratops.
But while we're looking that up real quick, Inks Gaming One of our other sponsors, they make custom store art and playmats now with a stitched option. Stitched option is great on playmats. It keeps your playmats from fraying at the end. None of you like that. They have wall art, lots of nerdy things, good things to display on your desks at work, good things to display on your desks at home, good things to hang on your wall, lots of nerdy things. Go to inkedgaming.com, promo code TCG University for a discount at checkout.
All right.
And so, no vigilance?
No vigilance.
No vigilance. We
But
lied to
reach,
you.
trample, haste. Haste and trample, of course, being the important ones.
Yeah, the main ones.
So
Anyway, so
Yeah.
the brazen borrower.
bounce the prison realm to your hand. You're at 1, no creatures in play. Cool. Give it haste. 5, you're dead. All right, game 3. And he kind of saw that I was like, geez, I misplayed that terribly. And I think he was looking at it, just kind of thinking, what are you talking about? There was no way that you weren't dead there. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Again, super nice guy. I'm not trying to make it sound like he was anything. Super nice dude. Game 3, unfortunately, I think was kind of a non-game where he just missed on too many land drops, and yeah, as things tend to happen. My third match, oh man, this guy was living his best life. This deck was sweet. I kind of caught a glimpse out of it because he was sitting next to me for round 2. He was on Fires of Invention.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, that deck is so fucking
Jeskai
cool.
Fires?
It was Grixis Fires.
Oh,
So he was
my-
playing Fodder Erasures and all sorts
Good,
of cool
yes.
stuff.
good old
I love that deck.
blacksmith with cool flavor text.
We're
Grixis.
we're kind of in like weird territory with this because I'm not sure if it's right for this deck to play counterspells or not. I think that it's probably fine out of the sideboard because Fires of Invention, for those that don't know, 1 red, 3 colorless, an enchantment. It allows you to cast spells with converted mana cost equal to or less than the amount of lands you have in play for free. And you can do 2 spells a turn, but you can only play spells during your turn.
Yep.
Right.
So counter spells get a lot worse.
Real bad.
They do.
Yeah, but I mean, I there have been certain times where I just kind of look at someone playing Fires and I'm like, you're not playing counter spells. The fuck are you doing with the Dovin's Veto? Like, that doesn't make sense. All right, sure. But I thought I had a lot of fun with these games. My opponent absolutely had a lot of fun with these games too, or at least I'm hoping he was. A fellow by the name of Joel. To give you an idea, I had enough fun that I remember this guy's name.
There you go.
It was something else. I'd say that the Fires deck is probably something to be on the lookout for.
It lets you splash things too.
It lets you do all sorts of fun.
Faya wishes into the sideboard.
Oh, yeah.
Get something totally off color. I love this
Absolutely,
deck.
yeah. You get to there's the
It's
casualties of
it's
war.
a good enabling card.
When you get to play Casualties of War in a deck that's not running any green, feels real good.
If you get to Casualties of War and name more than 2 things, I do not see how you're losing that game.
Well,
because I think that one of the games I believe that happened, Casualties of War, I didn't have an answer for it, and I went, yeah, we're done here.
So as I play this deck a lot, sometimes that is you're like, I'm doing this to stay alive. I was talking to my friend, and we were working on our wish boards for our Fires decks, and we were looking at that, and I'm like, well, I see you've got that card in there. It was True Love's Kiss, and I'm like, what if that were a second Casualties of War? And he's like,
well, then
holy
you don't
shit,
get to
you're
draw a
right.
card.
Holy
That's,
shit, you're right. And he put his second Casualties in. Because I can promise you one thing. You might live off the first Casualties of War. You are not living past the second Casualties of War.
So
Or
for
you run a
those of you
cameo
that
and
don't
get it
know,
back.
you get Stars and Garters. You know what? Yeah, actually, that's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Because one of the big strengths of the Fires deck is being able to play Planeswalkers. So my opponent was playing the Dragon God, what was that?
Nicol
thing?
Bolas Dragon God?
Yeah, the Nicol Bolas, which, yeah, okay, we even got to pull it up. So choose one or more. Back
This is
on
Casualties of War.
real quick, guys. Destroy target artifact, destroy target creature, destroy target enchantment, destroy target land, destroy target planeswalker.
Cool art too.
You always get to destroy a land. And in all honesty, if you're playing Casualties of War and you don't get to choose that option, what are you doing? Why are you
Well, you
still,
Liliana
why is
ulted.
your opponent still playing that game? And if you Liliana Ultimate on your opponent, then you should have then right on Flaxen Invader.
These are all things you got to
just
do.
right.
Which I just want to point out the be able to cast 2 spells and the be able to cast spells with without paying their mana cost lets you splash in so many cool things.
It does. I think that the drawback is significant to the point where, when you're playing control, you really have to be kind of
True.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have an answer for the Fire's Invention, if they get to resolve it, now you're in a position of, all right, you only get to play 2 spells a turn. I'm going to cast the Wish half of this fairy. All right, cool. That's going to resolve because I'm going to counter whatever the fuck you get with that card. Yeah. I mean, look like a fool if it's uncounterable, if it's a Ceratops, but it never is.
Well, you can't get creatures. The Fey Wishes
That's
can't
true.
get
Yeah,
creatures.
you can only get non-creatures. So
But you can get Chandra.
you know what? Right.
Which I do all the time.
Chandra gonna get you.
Oh, my girl.
Shut
Oh, that card. I've been waiting for that card for years.
If I remember right, I
Thank you,
think that was
Wizards.
actually the reason why I won game 3, where my opponent made. Of course, he did not have perfect information, so he didn't know what I had in my hand. He didn't know what my what the plan was there. He went for Chandra, and instead of plussing with Chandra, which I think he should have, because I'm playing blue-white control, my round 1 went to time after game 1. We finished a game. My deck does not kill fast.
No.
So played out the Chandra, and instead of plussing, he minused to kill the Teferi. All right. Well, Teferi, obviously, I have been hyping that card the entirety of this podcast, so obviously I have a high opinion of it. But I think he should have just kind of ignored it and went, all right, that card's really cool. Plus, answer my Chandra.
6 mana Chandra is better than Teferi. Yep. Teferi doesn't interact with her.
Doesn't.
He's better than her if they're both in play. She's better than Teferi if they're both in play.
Yeah. She can just strike him down, exile him. All right. Yeah. I mean, I won game 3 off of having to resolve 4 Brazen Borrowers and go on the beatdown strategy because we were pretty close to time. We definitely were the last match out. They're just all sorts of fun cards that you get to play. I might very well take another look at Fires of Invention, specifically because of my opponent and all the cool shit that he got to do with that.
deck.
It's just really cool. So rounds 4 and 5, very unexciting because I just drew them. I think I played against Johnny in round 4 and just kind of looked at him and went, I think we can double draw and we're going to do that now.
Yep.
All right, cool. We're good at Magic, so we don't actually have to play it. Yay.
Whenever you're playing tournament Magic, the goal is to play as little Magic as possible.
I will at some point either have something written up or do a video about the Prisoner's Conundrum and the idea behind why intentional draws, when you should intentionally draw, when you shouldn't, things along those lines. And a lot of those are going to be from my perspective. I'm a big fan of intentional draws. I know other games don't allow them. Magic in particular, we do. But that's something I can ramble on about for hours. Sure. So rounds 4 and 5, intentional draw. Yay, we did it. First round of the top 8, first Oko matchup I got, and that dude fucking crushed me. Again, keeping with the theme of Manhattan, Kansas. Some of the nicest people I played against. So he was on the Sultai Sacrifice version, which plays Trail of Crumbs.
Yep.
It plays the cat that when you sacrifice a food and it's in the graveyard, you return it to play.
I love that cat.
It is very, very strong
love
with
that cat.
Oko.
Yep, with
not
Oko.
anymore.
Not anymore.
Well, Witch's Oven. It's
Witch's
very.
Oven.
I know that there exists a Jund deck that does a lot of the same. Where now that Oko's gone, I believe LSV put up a video of that where it's playing the Brawl Commander, the Jund Brawl Commander, that you draw a card
Yes.
and it gets a counter.
Corvold.
Yeah, Corvold.
And that's the only deck after the ban
Which
I played.
think Corval will get more play.
Oh no, he will. And I saw that deck like
Standard
4
legal.
times post Oko ban. So really quick, I wanna we're running a little low on time.
Sorry, I went over
No problem.
a
No,
bunch
it's okay.
there, but
No, it's good to hear
Congrats,
about.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Yep.
And that's where, again, the Solemn Simulacrum and some other product that I got, I decided, since Eric was talking about it last week and made it sound so cool, I got one of the gift boxes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wait, I don't actually crack loose packs ever, but I absolutely cracked that collector's pack.
Anything cool?
That
And-
collector, it's so shiny and they're hard to find.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm like, why is this one darker than the
Yeah.
others? Open it up, like, oh, there's cool shit in here.
So-
A foil with the weird border.
the extended art rare.
Extended art. yeah.
Doom Foretold.
Oh,
Oh,
which-
that's cool.
That's
cool, yeah.
That's another deck I'm looking forward to picking up again now that Oko's not a thing, because I don't think it had a very favorable food matchup.
I don't think so.
It definitely did not have a favorable Field of the Dead matchup. So the 2 decks that it wasn't good against are gone.
Hey, maybe you have some standard cards. Make a brawl deck. Come play Brawl with us.
That's, I mean, I could. It's the problem. The problem that I have, and I can pontificate about this for a while, but we're over like I'm eating up a lot of time.
We'll just make him stay late.
Yeah.
That's fine. You get more show.
The problem that I have is I always feel like whenever I'm playing those types of games, like group games, like I'm always going to contribute to feel bad. Because I'm going to be the cutthroat competitive person.
Are you playing
and that's
blue?
not why.
Well, then you
Of course, I'm going to play blue.
Well, then you die first. It's okay.
You may not believe it, but that is the third best color in Magic.
I'm so sorry for hating on blue. I've been doing
Oh,
it this
no,
entire
it's-
episode.
Like no, that is 100% you're right. I've joked before, like Selesnya, the two worst colors in Magic, yay.
Yay.
But there are plenty of instances where there have been Selesnya decks that have been super strong. I've played Selesnya decks before that I've very much enjoyed. There are Selesnya cards that I've enjoyed, but that's a huge digression from because honest to God, I'm not even 100% sure what we were talking about anymore.
Play Brawl.
So
Play Brawl, yeah. Probably at some
Okay,
point.
good.
It's, I mean, I can't play Oko anymore, so I got to figure out some other sweet.
Just play
general...
Niv Mizzet. Then you get to play all the good cards. Anyway. Also, no
probably.
hate. I don't know. Well, actually, never mind. I was going to say Eric, who hosted the tournament, he got to play in it because he was at the charity tournament. He actually won with Niv Mizzet, and then he gave all the prizes to the other people. It was very
That's
cool of him.
awesome.
I was going to say, I don't want Eric to think I'm judging him for playing Niv Mizzet. He made a good choice. But then I realized Eric doesn't watch the show.
Yeah.
So,
there
never
we go.
mind.
There we go.
Okay, so we're going to roll on to the last topic then, if that's cool. There's no
Yeah.
other stories on that tournament. Thanks so much for sharing. That's really cool. We need to go out and do more tournaments. Let me know when you're doing this, and I might come along
yeah, I
next
mean,
time.
record
like,
some footage.
I thoroughly enjoy the car rides and all that, and provided you're not going to grief me for my music, I've got 3 seats open. So
No,
Nice.
not at all. You gave me
Yeah.
a ride to the auto body shop.
yeah, no, my Hyundai is sick. Like, dude,
We can listen to weird
2018
JoJo.
Elantra.
Yeah.
We can listen to JoJo's
Yeah,
Bizarre
so
Adventure music.
Automata covers.
Yeah.
The Real Sully G, I think, is the YouTube channel. Give
That's all right.
give us a like and subscribe on this video, and then give him a like and subscribe on his video, and then his behind the scenes account. Yeah, it's
I
It's fine.
appreciate
that rabbit hole is
I have
deep.
really good headphones. It's
Keep,
fine.
keep up. I like that we're keeping up the tradition of recommending our viewers, our 80 maybe viewers,
way more
to
popular
go
things.
go to these million subscriber YouTube channels.
hey,
Check
it's-
it out.
It's good karma.
Well,
it's fine.
Yeah, to give you guys an idea, there's a bad guy cover that's done on a handheld synthesizer. The William Eyelash, Billie Eilish. Yeah, so it's fantastic. I'm a big fan of this handheld synthesizer and all these covers.
All right, we're gonna hit topic 3, and we're gonna hit it kind of quick here. So topic 3 is partially this new product that's coming out. It's called Secret Lair, and now here's the deal. They're announcing what it is this coming Monday. So the day this episode is going to go live, you'll know what this is. And so we've gotten a couple cryptic hints on Twitter. I'm not going to go over those cryptic tweets
Well,
because us guessing what it is right now probably it doesn't. You already know what it is. So
Yeah.
us guessing it means nothing. So I kind of wanted to talk about. This is obviously a surprise product that we're assuming is going to come out for the holidays, and if not, come on, Wizards! Oh my gosh, put something out other than Eldraine
it's
packs.
holiday time.
Yeah. So I want to talk about really quick. I'd like each of us to say, unless we have something we want to say about the product, but I'd like to say what each of us would like to see in a product that comes out this time of the year before the holidays. So, Jace, you want to go first?
I think things I like to see for the holidays, which you're already starting to see some of the things for the holidays. I do like those swag packs with the shiny foil full art
Is that the
Morning.
official name?
swag pack. Yeah,
And
no,
if not,
I think
why
that's
not?
I think that's a good.
Yeah, no, I
official
love
name
that
for it.
name.
Yeah.
That is,
It-
I'm
well, I
calling
mean,
them nothing other than that now.
It basically is, and they're hard to find. So I would love more of that kind of thing. I like cards that are legal to play and pretty and pretty neat. I would like them to possibly start putting out some availability to buy in stores, like maybe cards in alternate languages and stuff like that. Because like there was some Japanese version of cards that were really cool.
The War of the Spark
of the
did
Spark.
the alternate art for the Japanese packs.
So I would love to have some mixin of that. Basically, yeah, I just want some pretty shinies.
Okay.
Because I think that's a good thing to put under the tree for your Magic playing person that they will appreciate no matter how many cards that they have, because they probably don't have those cards.
The holiday bundle with the
Absolutely on the
oh yeah the
Mono's thing is still my background and probably will be for the remainder of human existence.
in the what Dave's talking about, he showed us on his phone, is the Liliana Dreadhorde General, but the Japanese artwork from those boxes I was telling you about is done by the guy who does the Final Fantasy box art.
Yoshitaka Amano.
Yeah, look up those cards.
That
if
fantasy,
you get a chance, they're worth looking up. The Nahiri's cool.
I picked that Liliana up. Eric opened one, and I pulled out my rare binder that doesn't leave the house, and I football
Chandra,
briefcased it into the store, and I'm like, okay, Eric, what do you want? I need that card.
I mean, this kidney still works fine. This kidney still works fine. I mean, I'd give him a pick.
There you go.
So that's why
I'm gonna expect more.
So basically, kind of what they're doing already, like the holiday bundle, the collector's packs, stuff to get those. Something you can tell grandma, like, buy me a holiday bundle, or buy me this specialty pack of blank at Target, so I can actually get it under the tree.
Yeah, I would like those to become a little bit more like Target friendly and stuff like that. These swaggy alternate art packs and stuff like that. I mean, I know there's some at least in comic books there's some hate on like alternate covers and like pretty covers because people think it's just kind of gougy and for it hitting people. I love those kind of things. I love putting custom covers on the wall. I love swagging out my decks. I can tell you that black deck I recently built, I have a bunch of Spanish cards in there, and I just like weird swaggy things. So I think most Magic players, if they were to get full art foils of cards that they already have, they like that too.
Commander players generally do. So yeah, those Brawl decks, those Commander decks, getting those extra special cards, a lot of people like that. And so yeah, that seems to be a pretty good kind of product to look for. Dave, what are you looking for in the holidays? Anything?
I mean, if we're just going with completely unrealistic wishes, which
Sure,
I want to go
wishes.
for.
Sure.
Yes, we're going to do a wish? All right, cool.
Yep.
There's this stupid thing called the reserve list, which I would love to see go away. Which, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
What a brave thing to say, Dave.
There's, one of those fellows that Adult Swim gave a TV show to. You know which meme I'm talking about. Why'd you say something so controversial yet so brave? I don't think it's either. Honestly, I think a lot of people
Nobody likes it.
No one likes the reserve list aside from the people that are sitting on multiple copies of dual lands in good condition, going, "Whoa, remove the." No, I have equity in this game. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's a bunch of investors right now going like, Dave,
you know what?
I swear to God,
if you want to invest in something.
Invest in
Be an
Legos,
adult and
God.
buy stocks. Stop fucking up my card game because you really want you think that this is more stable than Bitcoin. Like I don't.
It is more stable.
That's actually, I'd love to. We'll do a topic on this.
I think that's actually a thing. As a matter of fact, a lot of people buying out of cryptocurrency for reserve list cards because they're like, they're not gonna reprint these, and these are skyrocketing in value.
So I mean, a brave wish, but maybe I don't know, Santa or what a holiday ghost. I don't know who else to pray
Santa
to.
with all
Dozen
the magics.
viewers, I have a task for you. I need you to flood St. Nicholas at the North Pole. That's his official address,
Yeah,
right?
just the North
Yeah,
Pole.
the North Pole, all caps. And I would like you to ask him to do whatever he needs to get the reserve list removed, and whatever he needs to.
And
Ominous. I love it. Ominous. Okay. And before my producer starts throwing stuff at me, we should probably wrap up. What I'd like to see here is kind of along the same lines as JC. Reprints, and maybe even Gideon spellbook, stuff like that. Things where they give us.
To be fair, reprints is also their service.
Well,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We all agree reprints.
Well, so
It's,
but reason we don't need necessarily we don't need to fetch lands necessarily.
we
I'm not
don't
saying
need Holiday Power 9.
We don't, yeah, but maybe so we're talking about this new Commander product where it's like the good green cards, the good Gideon spellbook. Give us things that they can go on the shelf at our local game store or at Target. And that we can tell, mom and dad, grandpa and grandma, people who don't know the game but know we like it, say, get this thing from Amazon, or honestly, if you can, go into your local game store, get it from them. and you'll get get those alternate arts, get some needed commander
And
reprints.
I think that's a good thing to drag people like Grandma into a game store to spend money, so that's extra money for those game stores.
Yeah, that helps them out at the
that's good.
holidays, keeps their lights on, helps everybody. Oh, as always, buy local game store if it is reasonable and if you can. But that's what I want to see.
Even if it's not reasonable, don't buy from big boxes. Just buy local.
Yeah, if you
buy from
can,
local places.
buy from your local game stores.
That's
But
God,
they're
I'm
not
sorry.
everywhere.
No, you're fine. It's a
Keep
good thing.
derailing. But the bottom line is Walmart's never going to host an F&M. Walmart's never going to have a PTQ or WPN, and I don't think I would ever go to Magic Fest Walmart.
No.
Just saying. But all these local stores get to do all these cool things, and they actually support the game and they keep the game going.
Plus, local stores have play mats and cool deck boxes and all kinds of
And
things.
yeah, so go to your local store, unless they suck. And then find a local store that doesn't suck and go to them. If you're out in the middle of the boonies, if you have no place to go, Amazon, Walmart, whatever you need, play the game. But if you have the option, spend a little bit more. Because, yeah, Dave's absolutely right. If you want to play this game, if you like tournaments, if you like the community, support the places that the community gathers and let them keep doing what they love. So, alrighty, I think that's everything. We made it through. Oh, one last thing I forgot from the last episode. I don't think anyone commented much at all, and nobody made our elk guess. In the last video, I told, in honor of the Oko banning, we said we had hidden an amount of elks on the set, and if you posted in the comments how many, you'd be congratulated. No one posted, and the number was 0. The number was 0 because we thought of it few minutes before we started recording.
Yeah.
So
I was kind of hoping you were going to double down and say, well, none of you guessed, so we
have to
doubled the amount of
we
elks in this episode.
doubled it. Oh,
and we will
shit, I
keep
should have said
doubling
that.
the amount of
Fine.
elks.
It's fine. You will. Oh man, I haven't done that in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Never mind. Yeah,
All right,
trail
so
off.
it was 0. So
God, I miss nicotine.
Congratulations, no one. Thanks for playing,
Oh.
nobody.
Thanks everyone for watching.
But actually, no,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
everyone for watching. We have a lot of fun doing it. We hope you enjoy watching it. Again, please get us those last 4 subscribes and more than that, because 1,000's a good number too. Let's aim for that soon. So
Hit
thanks
the
so much for
button.
watching, guys.
It's right
for next
right
week.
here, right here.
Let's go and
right
remember
here.
there
Yeah.
won't be an episode
Yeah,
next
yeah.
week
Right
because
here.
of the Thanksgiving holiday.
We
So.
record Thursdays, and we are busy, and so we're going to have a little bit of a holiday break here, and then we'll be back after that. So this will come out Monday, nothing the Monday after that, but then we'll be back for more weird, rambling Magic content that you crave. So thanks so much for watching. We appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Have a good holiday, and make sure to remember who you are. Have a good night, everybody.